Good evening and welcome into episode 12 of the Off the Reins podcast. My name is Ryan Messer, and I want to first off apologize for the issues last week. We had a few technical issues, and then this week I've been a bit under the weather, so I apologize. We only want to put the best quality content out for you guys, so I appreciate you guys bearing with us through all of this. So, with that being said, we've had a lot to catch up on since we last met. So, before we get too far into it, we are going to have some changes coming up with the platform, all of that. So, make sure you guys are following us on all of our social handles and are engaged with us and have those notifications turned on because you don't want to be missing a thing as it regards to all things Birmingham sports. So, before we go too far, we're going to jump right on into it with this week's Birmingham Sports Brief, brought to us this week by Blue Spring Living Water. We're going to start it off in the USL, where your Birmingham Legion actually made it to the third round of the U.S. Open Cup, taking on the Chattanooga Red Wolves on the 17th at University of Montevallo, where the Birmingham Legion double up on the Red Wolves 4-2. Then they headed down south to Miami, where they took on the Miami FC, and they wound up winning 1-0. Then last week they unveiled the new kits, as you can see to the side here. It is called the Vulcan kit, and they actually unveiled it at Vulcan Park downtown up on Red Mountain. So it was really cool to see that, and it's really cool how it pays homage to the city of Birmingham and the metallurgic roots and industrial roots in the city. They unveiled it at this past weekend's game, taking on Memphis 901 FC, and unfortunately, the new kits didn't help as they fell 3-0. The next game is this Saturday as they travel out to Oklahoma to face FC Tulsa. Switching over to the MILB, the Birmingham Barons, as we last left them, were taking on the Birmingham or the Mississippi Braves. Where they wound up winning the series 5-1, including a doubleheader on that Sunday. Then they took on a series with the Chattanooga Lookouts as they headed up to Chattanooga for a road trip. And they wound up winning that series 5-1 as well. And then they just started a series Monday with the second place Rocket City Trash Pandas, where they have now split the series a game apiece, where Birmingham wound up winning on Tuesday, and Rocket City wound up winning on Monday. Then we were also able to head out to Barber Motorsports Park, where we were able to cover the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix. This is such a great event. It's always great to take the family to, let them, get their face painted. They have all kinds of treats for the kids. Um, and then for the adults, you got the garage. You get to watch the race, and it's such a great race every time because this track was built for motorcycle racing. However, it's perfect for these Indy cars. Um, it was also great to see um, uh, Scott actually go back to back winning uh, since he won last year and this year. So uh, it was really cool to see that as well. Um, but as you can see, there were such great photo opportunities. You can see we had a few different shots there, but we were right there in Charlotte's Web there at Barber Motorsports Park, which is one of the more treacherous areas in that course. But it's always a great time. So next year, if you didn't get to go, make sure you make that a priority. Take yourself, take your family. It's always a great opportunity, great weekend. Something else that's really great is getting water delivered right to your door from Blue Spring Living Water. Whether you're across the state or across the country, you can get the smooth, naturally minerally enriched water that's sourced right in our own backyard over in Blount County. So make sure you take a step toward a healthier life with Blue Spring Living Water. Switching over to the Birmingham Stallions. What can we say but the injury bug has bitten us hard? Um, we had Chris Blewett get injured. We've had um, multiple, you know, defensive players get hurt. We found out that we didn't get to cover last week, but because of technical difficulties. But there were a lot of injuries the 2 weeks ago when with the wet grass and turf and all. That's treacherous weather for players to be playing in because that turf gets so slick. But it seems like that really kind of went into play with all of the injuries that we saw. We saw Colby Wadman get injured, and he recently wound up getting released, unfortunately. And now our Scooby Wright, seemingly retired, even though he hasn't officially said it, but Coach Holtz even said, he still sees him as being on IR. He's not retired. He hasn't told him he's retired, and until he hears it from himself, he's going to consider him still a part of that team because that he's such a major leader in this team. So it's crazy to think that that man's retired because he's been such an icon for this team over the past 3 years, and such a leader and overall just really cool guy, really down to earth dude. So hopefully we haven't seen the last of Scooby Wright, but it's seemingly so. Um, but like I said, Coach Holt said otherwise. Um, we've had a few different injuries, and then CJ Marable apparently is dealing with a family issue as well. So let's hope that gets resolved because we really need to have him at full capacity. But let's hope that family matter gets taken care of. Also, the game itself it was kind of rough because it seemed like a bit of a wake up call to this team. That hey, you guys can get beat, and honestly, uh, if it wasn't for a couple chance plays that went our way, um, that could have been a lost game. But the team never gave up. That's one thing I can say about Coach Holtz's team. They're not going to give up, and they're not going to stop when they think the game's over. That's not their mentality. No matter what the scoreboard says, they're 0-0 all the time. Uh, as their mentality states, apparently, because they obviously um have that mental focus and mental strength to just keep going. Even when it seems like the cards are stacked against them. Um, it seemed like it did a couple weeks ago in that DC game, because we could have easily gotten beat. But fortunately, we did well. Ramiz Ahmed wound up coming in and went 4 for 4. Had a really great game, even in the weather, and that game winner there at the end. And then Coach Holtz was even critical of himself, saying that he had too much time left on the clock at the very end, which was kind of humorous considering there was only 4 seconds left. But seeing Colby Wadman go out like that, and Scooby Wright, unfortunately, we just hate to see that, you know. But one thing I can say about this team is their resiliency and determination to keep going, and the next man up mentality is really strong in this team because they don't. Um, Coach Holtz is good about trading players in and out to make sure that when these things happen, which they do, um, he's always able to recover from it because we've got those players that's got had that time uh, on the field. So it's really great to see that um, that next man up mentality is strong in this team. So we also saw this week JoJo Tillery wound up getting a what looked like it could have been a pick six. Unfortunately, he had a muscle issue in his leg, looked like a hamstring issue, and we talked to Coach Holtz on Tuesday, and he mentioned that he is probably going to be um, not going to be in the game on Saturday versus Memphis. I really hope that he can hurry up and get healed up because, and not hurry up, but because he is a major player in this team and a major leader in on this team because especially on this defense, which has been really strong. I can't say enough about how this defense has been because Coach Holtz is known for his fiery and explosive offenses. However, this defense has been unreal this season, holding teams uh, half of what they've been putting up with other teams on the other teams, being sack leaders left and right. It's insane. So, um, we lead the league in sacks. I think tackles for loss. Um, I think fewest yards allowed. And I think I know we just had our lowest total points allowed in this previous game. And so it was really cool. It's really cool to see this team, but I hate to see JoJo Tillery. Hopefully we can get him back. And I haven't seen the um, reports yet, the injury report yet, but let's hope he can he is able to return pretty soon, uh, at pretty decent, at least majority capacity. We don't want to bring him back too soon. Re-injure that uh, leg. But as far as the game itself, that was all I can say is a complete blowout. Um, if we hadn't have made a few mistakes that we had made, that could have been a complete and total utter blowout. In that game, early there were a few sloppy plays made, unfortunately, but that team never gives up. They never look at the scoreboard as if it's like it's 0-0, like I said earlier. Um, Regardless whether you're up or you're down, that team just thinks keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. They don't know how to stop. That's one thing I can love about this team. I think that what keeps them successful is the fact that they have that resiliency and that no stop attitude to where they can uh, continue and continue and continue. And like we said, the next man up mentality is strong in this team. So, uh, yeah, we hate to see certain players go out and get injured, um, but the fact that we were able to have success with these players being absent is just a credit to the coaching staff and the players themselves for being able to maintain that sense of athleticism and dedication. Uh, Another thing we had is that we saw that Cole Snyder was back. Um, he was out during the DC game. I believe he was uh, had an injury as well, but they wanted to make sure he was full strength. But this game was completely in our hands the entire game. They didn't let it get out of hand at all, like they did during the DC game. But it's amazing to see that we can uh, we have the capability of switching even centers out like that. So I mean, the defensive players, yeah, we've got linebackers and the front seven swapping out from time to time, and we've got safeties that they swap out. But it's crazy to see how successful they are, even with that, um, and sustaining that as they do. Another thing that we saw on Saturday was another massive performance by Adrian Martinez. Um, Not only did we see his legs like we have been, but he has been dropping some dimes. Adrian Martinez is looking really, really good. I'm sure NFL scouts are really taking a look at him because he's got loads of talent. We talked to him a few weeks back, and he had mentioned that being a multi uh, sport athlete growing up was actually a major part in his athleticism and his strengths. So it was just great to see that he's able to not only get the ball on the ground, but dropping dimes where they need to go because they didn't have a single turnover on offense at all um, from that game, which is really surprising because I think it's been every game they've had at least one turnover, I believe, except for that one. So um, I'm really proud of this team, and it's great to see how they're led by two really great quarterbacks who either one could come in and win the game. We've seen that. And Coach Holtz is proving that by swapping them in and out. He put letting them play from start to finish. But it's really great to see Adrian Martinez, spread his wings and get the ball downfield. So he's keeping it's such a crazy weapon against these defenses because you've got to keep them honest, and if they don't, account for the running quarterback, they're gonna make he's gonna make you pay. He made so many great runs because they just had a wide open field where they were playing had you know spread coverage. But it's just I gotta say this: it's not just him. This offensive line this year is really really great. Um, how strong they are, how the mental toughness, the uh, just overall will to create holes and give these guys and Ricky. Guys, don't get me started with Ricky Persons because he has stepped up where uh, I didn't expect, you know, compared to last year, especially. Um, he's really kind of bulked up and gotten more uh, muscular and is actually able to power through a bunch of these what looks like you won't be able to get through, but he's able to bust through and get through these defensive lines. Like he's, I'm gonna start calling him Houdini because I don't see how he got through there. He comes out of nowhere, but he's able to sustain drives multiple times because of his power and athleticism. And between him, hopefully C.J. Marable will be able to get back. This rushing offense has been so amazing. We can't say enough about them. If we don't win it all this year, there's no telling that I don't see how we don't. Um, but stranger things have happened. We are getting more injuries, and as the season goes on, there's going to be more. Hopefully, we can get a bunch of these guys back that we can, but I know that we've signed a bunch of people recently, so hopefully, I'm going to some decent names that actually have been on these rosters before. I think a couple of them that were on the camp roster. So if he's got Coach Holtz and the guys always have that option of bringing folks in when we have the opportunity. So switching over to this weekend, we will be in Memphis covering the game for you guys at the historic Liberty Bowl there in Memphis, Tennessee. So if you can't make the drive up I-22 to Memphis, make sure you guys go out the back 40. They're going to have the watch party again, but hopefully you guys can make this home field advantage there at the Liberty Bowl. Take advantage of the uh, the low number of fans that were at the Showboats games previously. I don't want to poke fun because we're having issues with attendance as well, but honestly, we've had you had A-Day and multiple other things getting in the way, and I know a lot of people are tired of hearing about attendance and stuff like that, but we also found out that Birmingham had the best, so far has had the best um, viewership in the as far as markets go for the Fox viewership. Um, Fox is seeing the Birmingham market, as their number one local market in viewing these UFL games. So they're not only if they're not out in the stands, they're watching on TV, and we know how big the market is and how big the viewer ratings and all are to these teams, because half the equity is to Fox for this league. So it's super important for these TV ratings um, to be really high, and for it to be Birmingham to be number one, and that being them being the number one uh, top shareholder is major. Uh, so to help secure this, because we were kind of worried about the sustainability of it being in Birmingham and all, with the lower numbers, not having the highest attendance, you know. But even so, we are seeing increases um, in people wanting to go to the games. We're seeing a lot of people being more engaged than we were. There's been a lot of people um, talking about it on Facebook and all. So let's hope that we can continue to grow this market, and that's why we do what we do, because we need, that more talking points and stuff like that, because we need more fans in the seats. So let's make sure that we if we're not going up there, Memphis, if you're not going up there to Memphis, make sure you're at the back 40. And guys, AJ McCarron, Alabama's homeboy, he's coming back to Alabama to play football. He is going to be in with the Battlehawks, and everybody's saying, "Oh, the chips are stacked against us on this game." But we've got the home field. We could make it home field advantage. Let's show all the naysayers and let them know that, hey, we love our team here in Birmingham. We love the Stallions, and we're going to support the Stallions regardless. So if you want to see former Alabama Crimson Tide quarterback AJ McCarron back in Birmingham, he's going to be there in a little over 2 weeks. Or no, a little over a week. So it's also going to be the Braves game, Braves Day, where they're gonna have blooper, and you'll be able to take a photo and of yourself in front of a backdrop of Truist Park, and they'll give you a little baseball card, custom baseball card. So that's gonna be great. So it's gonna be awesome to have the Braves team out there just to celebrate as they're going through the Braves Country World Tour. And personally, I don't know if you can see in the background, I've got a few Braves things right in behind me, but I'm a big Braves fan myself, so if I'm gonna try to get a few shots of blooper while he's out there. So if you can't make it, make sure you guys get out there to back 40, like I said, and then make it back to Birmingham on the I think it's the 11th. So make sure you guys get out there on May 11th to the Protective Stadium, see AJ McCarron take on the Birmingham Stallions. Everybody's saying that's the only team that would be able to probably beat Birmingham, but we'll see. As for me, I'll see you guys this weekend. Like I said, we'll be out there in Memphis. So for now, peace out. Giddy up.